Hello to all the peoples in all the world. We missed you for 1 full week. We took off, but we are back. Holidays are over, and that is behind us, and this is episode 230. And this episode features Bombcast Jay, Bender Only, and myself talking about any and everything in the world that has to do with pop culture. And we go wide, we go deep, we go hard. It's not a porno, but I kind of made it sound that way. Again, I'm teasing this. I think we're closer and closer to seeing Return of the Silver Badger. He was traveling for work this week, which is why he couldn't be here, but fingers crossed that changes soon. But outside of that, I don't have anything much more to say. So we're gonna go ahead and get into the episode. It was a good time for us. I drank wine because I'm fancier than the other two. And Bender says, well, you should have told me. I too would have drank wine. No, listen, when you're as fancy as me, I shouldn't have to tell you. You should just know to do it yourself. So that did not happen. But we did have some drinks, and we did talk about pop culture, and that starts as soon as you hear this bomb, which is about now.
Girl power show that Amy Poehler created.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
It's like I think it's on Netflix. And it's basically about a bunch of girls who like their school pigeonholed them into like only doing girl things, and they're like, no, we don't want to do that.
Would that be pigeon-held them?
Pigeonhole, isn't it?
I don't know. Yeah, it is
I'm
like...
pretty sure it's pigeonhole.
Yeah, I think so.
Is it H-O-L-E?
I think so.
This is prime content that we're wasting here.
Yeah. No, I'm recording.
All right, let's find out.
Let's look it up if it's pigeonhole or pigeonholed.
Who holds a pigeon?
I don't know. I guess it is pigeonholed.
Look at that.
Yeah, you got one.
What does it even mean, though? Where's the dictionary for it?
I don't know. A tendency to pigeonhole him. I wonder where it came from. Yeah. I don't know.
There's a bakery called Pigeonhole Bakery.
I wonder if they only make one kind of bread. Mm-hmm. You know, because that'd be kind of...
pin them down. One thing that they do.
Shtick. We only make one kind of bread. In Indianapolis, there was a Dungeons & Dragons themed donut shop near my hotel. I didn't get to go to it.
That's cool.
But yeah, it was...
No, it says pigeon... It's still hold, but hold, pigeonholed, yeah. Pass, participate, pigeonholed.
Yeah, not a H-O-L-D, but a H-O-L-E-D.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we got it. We're there. Yeah. All right. I guess on that note, now that we've got our English in order, we are back. This time...
Do you want the Urban Dictionary version of it?
Well, that's the second goddamn week in a row that him and Missy stepped all over the "We Are Back" in the intro of it.
Yep.
But he's built it up now, so
I might as well give it to us.
The term describes the act of having hetero or homosexual intercourse with someone, then taking a shit on the windshield of their car.
Oh,
what the fuck?
All right.
What? I didn't actually read the whole thing before I read it.
Fucking someone and then shitting in their car. Super friend of the show, not friend of the show, but super friend to me, one of my best friends, and never been on the show, Hal Pal. He used to... his
Upper Deck?
No, but his definition of grudge fucking when he was mad at a girl or when he wanted to end it was to put it in her butt and shit in her bed on the way out. That was his idea of...
It's like an Always Sunny episode.
Yeah, he was like, he's like that, and he, even though he now has daughters and he detests the "see you next Tuesday" word, he has wielded it because he said it's an absolute deal breaker when I don't want to argue with a girl anymore, and the relationship's clearly ran its course, I just drop a "see you next Tuesday" and I never hear from her again.
Definitive.
Sound logic. Anyway, on that note, again, we are back, and this time you could tell by our conversation and our acronym for "See You Next Tuesday" that it is Bender, myself, Bombcast Jay, and that is it. Had a week off due to the holiday, but guys, we're back, we're reloaded, and we got a jam-packed world of pop culture to talk about. So, I guess we can just jump right into it. Oh, you didn't say hi. You got to say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Okay. I like when he literally does what I say.
Yep.
Yeah. That's why he's climbed the ranks.
Tom has to work in Pennsylvania this week or something.
Yeah, sounds great. I bet Pennsylvania's good.
No, he actually has to like do physical labor. Like he's the sales guy, but they don't have any staff to like like fill
delivery
boxes.
guys or
So
anything?
he's like actually doing physical labor this week.
That sucks.
So that beer afterwards will be really good.
Yeah, he's not happy about it, but whatever, pays the bills.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what you need coming out of a pandemic when he, switched jobs and this one, stuck around. So
Yeah.
the postscript to that, he's still not back on the episode.
Nope.
I guess, though, if we're going to start somewhere, we're going to start here because I watched it, maybe not legally, but I guess the biggest overall event in pop culture, certainly the biggest pop culture character or figure to cross over in mainstream in some sort of way, in this way, in mainstream sports, saw Logan Paul last night box, and I'm giving you air quotations, Floyd Mayweather in an 8-round exhibition. I watched it. I did not pay for it. I tried paying for it, so I do not feel guilty about watching it illegally.
Yeah, they had to give a bunch of people their money back, apparently.
They didn't even take my money, but they certainly didn't even try to let me stream it. So I was like, and I even made a tweet out. Do you remember when technology was worse and pay-per-views were much easier to buy?
Yeah.
Pay-per-views are hard as fuck to make happen, unless you watch pro wrestling.
Who was carrying it?
Showtime.
Showtime.
Yeah. So Triller app sucks. UFC's ESPN Plus app sucks.
Yeah.
But don't you have cable still?
You don't do it. You can't do it that
There's
way
not
anymore.
that like pay-per-view channel anymore?
No, it's all whatever apps. So you have to subscribe to
that's
the
annoying.
app. Yeah, just dumb. It's just stupid. So yeah, you can't even watch a UFC pay-per-view without paying for ESPN Plus. So you pay your $10 a month or
Yeah,
whatever it is.
that's silly.
Then you get your $60 on top of it it's dumb. It's dumb, and I get.
It's a money grab.
Well, it is, but it's also, since streaming's the world we're going to, and the WWE kind of led the way with its subscription service on that. I mean, it's where everything's going, but it's, again, there's only so much bandwidth in the world, and it's
getting as much to have all these streaming channels as it is cable or satellite now.
more.
If not more, because if I want to watch like Premier League now, and most of their games are on the NBC app still, but every once in a while there'll be one on Paramount Plus or something weird, and I'm like, I don't have this, and I don't want it.
I have Paramount Plus.
Do you?
Yeah, because of the Challenge, All Stars, and the Real World Reunion, and all those MTV shows that me and my wife
So is there
are stuck
still
into.
an option to just get a cable package? Because it's got to be cheaper at this point.
Yeah, there is, and I'm down to the absolute basic one you can. But the problem with that is I can't get Bally Sports. I can't watch Cardinal games.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just all stupid.
Yeah.
It's big and dumb. But
First world problems.
that said, like I said, that thing last night that I watched, it certainly was something that happened. I had it, for anyone wanting to know my take, and I've watched a million rounds of boxing in my life. I love boxing. I had it 7-1 in favor of Floyd. It could have been an argument that, especially in rounds 4, 5, and 6, that Logan could have been, had there been scoring. There was no reason to deduct a point because they weren't scoring the fight.
Yeah.
But had there been scoring, Logan probably could have been warned and possibly deducted for holding too much. But overall, my exact thoughts of the event was it was just a fucking colossal joke, which is kind of what I expected going into it. So I don't know why people that were hating on it were upset. What did you think was going to happen?
Well, like Floyd's whole career is dodging, wearing somebody out, and then punching them a couple times. Like, that's what he's been good at.
He's more active than he was in this fight. He was not active. And
He's also 44, and that
43,
kid's 25 or whatever.
43 and 37 pounds lighter than Logan could not hurt him.
Yeah.
Logan, when he hit him, could not hurt him because he's punched for a living when he gets punched. He stung Logan a couple times. Logan's face certainly showed that he had been in a fight.
Yeah, Twitter showed some pretty decent connections.
There was just no chance of him knocking down. Floyd just didn't choose to be that active. As a matter of fact, in the post-fight press conference, Floyd Mayweather called himself the world's best legalized bank robber.
Yeah.
He just takes the money.
Yeah,
That's all he does.
he said this was fun, and
$20 million
I didn't have to take
for
it
a sparring
serious.
session.
Yeah.
That's what he got paid. And it's a sad state of affairs for both boxing and MMA that an exhibition fight between Floyd and Logan Paul can make more than any non-Conor McGregor fighter in MMA, and any boxer outside of Canelo, Joshua.
See, I don't even know who those guys are.
I couldn't tell you a single
Canelo
boxer now.
Alvarez is the best boxer in the world. He's got one loss in his record, and it's I think he had the no contest.
Is he the big
Triple G.
Russian dude?
No. He's a lighter weight guy. He lost to Floyd, and Floyd, being the smartest guy in boxing he fought Canelo when Canelo was like in his 12th pro fight because he knew, he's going to be a handful when he gets older.
Yeah.
So he beat him in a decision then, and now Canelo knocks out the world. He's the best boxer in the world. And then there's an argument to be made that Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua are the two most marketable guys
I've
worldwide.
heard of Tyson Fury.
Well, he's the champ, one part of the heavyweight title. Boxing is got all the headaches that there used to be are even worse now. Just know that here's everything you can surmise about what's wrong with boxing right now. After Tyson Fury in the 12th round of the Deontay Wilder fight raised up like the Undertaker from the dead and won that round, arguably won that fight, although it was called a draw. And then he came back and beat the brakes off of Deontay Wilder the second time. It was perfectly lined up for possibly the biggest gate in the history of pro boxing. Anthony Joshua against Tyson Fury, both Brits, both fighting over there in like the O2 Arena or something. It would have been massive. The fight was scheduled to go. They were ready. They both said it was going to happen. And neither took into account the federal or the judge's injunction and the lawsuit that is forcing Tyson Fury to have a rematch against Deontay Wilder. So now that has to happen first. And he just utterly destroyed Wilder last time. Can he do it again? Probably. Can Wilder certainly still has knockout power that comes from supernatural areas? Yes, but that's what's wrong with boxing. Like, it's not the fight anyone wanted, but it's the fight that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But back to this one, though. Floyd, like I said, here's my take. The biggest joke of the night, though, is actually the Paul brother that's the more serious fighter. He was in the crowd, live streaming his face. He was like, oh, my God, it's 2 rounds to none to my brother. And then he was like, and by the 5th round, he's like, Logan is beating Floyd Mayweather. Can you believe this? And then at the end of it, he goes, he just beat. No, he did not. He landed 13% of his punches, and he was exhausted. And he's
got to be the hype man.
Yeah.
But which sucks that he's the bigger joke because he's the more legitimate fighter of the two. He's
the older one, right?
No, he's the younger one. Jake is the younger one, and he is about to box St. Louis's own Tyron Woodley.
But is Tyron Woodley a boxer?
He is an MMA 5-time champ, but
I knew he was an MMA
3-time champ, but he's also a 5-time pro boxer.
Oh, really?
He's fought
I didn't
5
know that.
fights, yeah. Also, the only legitimate fighter that Jake Paul will have fought.
Yeah.
Now, here's where I don't hate on Jake Paul. If you were to get into the Wayback Machine, soup up your DeLorean with Mr. Fusion, throw some garbage in there, and time travel back to Mike Tyson's 2nd or 3rd fight, you'd be like, who the fuck is this bum he's fighting?
Yeah.
If you would have went and saw Oscar De La Hoya's 2nd fight, you'd have been like, oh, it's a cashier that they got to come in and fight. So what Jake's doing, unfortunately for Jake and Logan, is that they're just so massively popular, so all eyes are on them. And all this hate thrown at Jake, which he deserves a lot of it, because also, by the way, not according to me, but according to a reputable source like the, I think it's the Washington Post or the New York Times, one of the two, you have to look it up. There's a very big story where they've done a lot of research that Jake Paul is a walking accused rapist that is not getting any.
I've read that.
Yeah, so
He just hasn't been Me Too'd yet like everybody else?
Well, I don't think either one of these guys they're Teflon when it comes to Me Too. I mean, in order to be Me Too, you'd have to have a person that has at some point in your life portrayed a respectable, an honorable person or an actor that can be, lose a franchise. Who's going to, they're YouTube guys.
Yeah.
But so you can make an argument that this is the natural progression of a boxer, and he is the better boxer of the two. Should he be the favorite against Woodley, which he is the betting favorite, which I don't bet. I don't even tell people how to bet. But if you were to, say, have $100 to $1,000 extra, I would put it all on Woodley right now while the betting line is in favor of Jake.
But Woodley's...
He's older. He's almost 40. Yeah, he's older.
He's a couple years. We went to the same high school, but he was a couple years older than me.
So he should be the favorite. And that's why you should vote now or bet now while he's not the favorite.
$2.
But again, Jake Paul's bigger. Now
Yeah.
Woodley is naturally a big guy. He cuts weight. Jake Paul is bigger. Jake Paul has good timing and really hard punches. But I expect him to get lit up, his face to get carved up by a smaller, faster guy in Tyron Woodley. Now here's
When
the
are they
other-
fighting?
next month or the month after,
wow.
something like that. Here's the only other issue I have with it. Woodley got super big in UFC, became the champ, arguably at the time was passing GSP in greatest welterweight of all time, and then he has since lost 20 straight rounds and doesn't look like he wanted to be in the rings in the cage anymore. So if you can't get up and want to be in a cage against real fighters in a real situation, in a much more dire, dangerous situation, then how can you get motivated to fight a Jake Paul, which is arguably a joke of a fight? I mean,
Unless it's just a cash grab.
oh, it's a massive cash grab.
And then, I don't know, I guess you take it seriously for the cash grab aspect of
He's
it.
representing the Lou.
Yeah.
We're proud.
Yeah.
So he's got to go knock him out.
You think he has Nelly sing for him on his entrance music?
At least
No,
come out
because-
with them.
No,
Yeah.
because he has his own rap album. So
Oh, does he really?
Yeah, he'll rap himself out
Okay.
there.
Well, you don't want to wear yourself out.
Yeah, so that's what's next. That was arguably the biggest thing that happened this week in pop culture and in the world we live in and the world that where things happen. And, we got 60-second attention span. It's came and gone, and now we're on to other things.
Yeah. I watched a little bit of the Twitter feed. I heard didn't really care that much. It was mostly just people going back and forth, people who didn't know anything about boxing but liked Logan Paul, and then people who knew a little bit more about boxing were like, he's not doing anything.
Yeah, well, I tell you this. Let's transition from two guys that try to inflict pain on each other, and let's briefly talk about something that I'm going to do, in which you guys could inflict pain on me.
Yeah, I don't want to do this. I watched the video. I'll pay money, but I don't want to do this.
Well, so let me get through it. So the Great Cycle Challenge is a fundraiser that's coming up in September. It's a fundraiser going on now, but the ride is in September. It's to benefit Children's Cancer Research Fund, and I had said in the video, and I shared the video from our podcast thing, but I'm going to pose a question to you here at the end of it, Bender, is that I have pledged now $1,000. I'm over the 500 mark, and I'm going to do another video as soon as my cycling jersey comes in. They even called and said thanks for raising $500.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then, but anyone from July 1st to August 1st that pledges $25, as long as there's room on the leg, gets to pull a wax strip off my leg. Because for those that don't know, cyclists shave their legs. I am by no means a cyclist, but I want to look the part.
Yep.
So I am going to do this, and I told Jay this. I think we should have the mic over my mouth, and you guys should be podcasting, and we should podcast together while I get it done.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
You
I just don't
wanna
want to
pull.
do it.
You
I
don't
want
want
to
to pull.
I might even have a location because I remember in your video you said you needed a location. Our friend is a hairstylist. She's got her own salon. So
Well, so here's the problem with that. We might keep your friend in mind if
yeah.
she's able.
I haven't
to do
asked
it.
her, but I could.
And remind them it is all for charity. We're going to reach out. I'm going to reach out to certain people. I would love to reach out to Kyle, but I got to think waxing in a restaurant is.
Yeah, I feel like
probably-
that's a health
probably,
code violation.
probably. But we need somewhere where people can watch it because people are certainly going to want to pull the leg hair off of me. So we need room to where we can set up the podcast and people can watch. So it might be too crowded in the salon.
Yeah,
It would
yeah.
certainly have to be when they were closed or something.
Yeah,
But we
yeah.
got time. We got to figure it out. But again, and poor Jay here, he donated right away.
Yeah.
And a lot of other people have been like, oh, I can't. I'm going to proxy and let someone. I'm like, hey, the video clearly says July 1st through August 1st. But I appreciate funds anyway because this is for a good cause. So yeah, and I called out for you guys and you guys have heard this too, but I also called out my recently created mountain bike club.
yeah, I saw that.
Yep.
They have not. They do not. They take the similar stance as you. They do not want. They want to be a part of it, but they do not want to put hands on because they're grossed out by it.
Unless we can come up with like weird contraptions to rip them off and like in slowly painful
No,
ways.
no. I do not want slow pull-offs. You're getting your money's worth in a very short amount of time. Pull it quick.
He's like tongs or something.
I want it yanked off. By the way,
Hook it up to the truck and like tie it off.
yeah. So that's going to happen. And I'm going to go ahead and do one more topic here, and then we'll jump into everyone else's topic, because we're going to really get back into pop culture. And this is something I read literally as I was typing this up. Oscar Isaac, he's about to be punished. Did you see this today?
No.
That's right. It seems as if Moon Knight, one of the people he's going to go toe-to-toe with is the Punisher in the series, and that Punisher will be played by John Barenthal.
Oh, really?
He's going
That's
to come back and
awesome.
reprise his role of the comic book's most famous anti-hero. A couple of things about this. One, a question I was posing to you guys. I mean, what other Netflix MCU characters do we want to see actors reprise their role? I think really the main ones for me is Barenthal as Punisher, Daredevil, and Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
I think those are the three.
And Wilson Fisk.
Oh yeah, and Fisk, and so that's the ones that really I thought were the best.
Yeah.
From the Netflix. But before we go to that answer, I want to ask you, is it a good sign, or is it delaying the inevitable that we see the Punisher getting cast in another Marvel or in an MCU? Because I gotta think that we're one or two events away from the Punisher not being a character in comic books because of society and everything that's going on.
Well, the creator said he thought that Punisher should take a step back from society because he's been hijacked by like right-wing militias
Yeah.
and things like that. So he's not too happy about it. I think there's a comic book fix to it, and there's probably a Marvel fix that's going to piss off all those guys. But I think there is a comic book fix. But do they even do Punisher comics anymore? I don't even know.
I don't think so. I haven't seen any for a while, but he shows up every once in a while.
He pops up every now and then.
He was...
Well, because he's never, with the exception of Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon's run, he's never been particularly too well written.
Yeah.
No, and he...
Which, by the way, that Max imprint run was
That's the one where the Vietnam one, right?
That was Born, the first that you're thinking of.
That came after.
That came after. And
that was pretty solid.
That was a good
Yeah.
miniseries, but it was the run.
Welcome Back, Frank.
Welcome Back, Frank
Okay.
from
See,
Ennis, and that was awesome.
That was awesome.
He didn't do a whole lot
Nucci's?
for me, so I didn't really do a lot of reading on him because I don't know. He just seemed kind of boring, like an angry dude. That just wasn't really my thing for comics. But that being said, I did watch the first season of the John Bernthal, and I think he's a good actor.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think he'll get a comeuppings in the show, and it'll make it, like they kind of did that a little bit in the show too, where he was figuring out his ways weren't exactly the right ways.
Yeah, I put a pin in John Barenthal. We'll come back to him and throw it to Missy segment 2, so remind me of that. Did you watch season 2?
I did watch season 2.
Was it okay?
It was okay.
Season 1 was better, though,
Yeah,
right?
easily
Noticeably
better.
So
Yeah.
Daredevil was the only one I think that was almost flawless.
Yeah.
We'll just let him finish his.
I'm sorry.
No. The second season dealt more with the PTSD, which I think is an interesting.
That is an
angle.
interesting take, yeah.
But
Very smart way to go, especially where we're at
Yeah.
with that kind of stuff.
especially soldiers that are going through it a lot more now. I mean, are being recognized for having it at least.
Yeah.
And they could have leaned into like easy tropes of like gangs or you know any of that stuff, and they really didn't do that. I thought they did a pretty good job of that.
Yeah, and I thought that was one of the better things about it, because in the comic book, it's always been he's fighting a different mob,
Yeah.
going after cartels. That was one of the last series I read, was going after the cartel. In Mexico.
And I'm fine with him like eventually going after a cartel, even if in the show or this it's a
The show was a corrupt general, I believe,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, bear with me here. We're armchair riding here, but if you start him going after gangs, you start him going after the bigger villain in the second one. Then by the third year, there's a real big drug problem, and he traces it to the fourth season, and he goes down to Central America in the fourth season to take it on.
Yeah.
That's a fun. That's how comic books work.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
never going to happen, but.
Right.
But yeah, hold off on the drug cartels till it means something.
Yeah.
Is what they should do. But again, I agree with you. In the comic book, it's every other week was a mafia member or a drug cartel or something. And I think he works better as a street level guy.
Yeah.
So.
And I think the show worked a lot better than the movies, even though I didn't mind the movies.
I never watched the second one.
So let's give people, for those that don't know, a history of the Punisher in the movies. It started with Dolph Lundgren.
Which I loved as a kid.
Because
that was the only comic book movie we really had at that point.
Yep.
as did I. And then it was Thomas Jane,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was what's his name? Not Vinny. I can't remember the guy's
Eric
name.
Something, I thought.
Yeah, the big guy. He's always played like a heavy, whether he's a mafia guy or in that King Arthur movie, that weird one.
He ended up as one of the Warriors 3, I think, in Thor movies.
Yes, he was one of the Warriors 3 in Thor.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not put those two together.
Yeah, wasn't he the heavy one? Or no, I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember which one.
But anyway, so and his was they tried to do a Garth Ennis Marvel Max take with his. His was very bloody and over the top.
It was Warzone, wasn't it?
yeah.
Yes, that was it. Yeah, and honestly, I wanted to like it more because in my mind they were trying to take it more of what they did when they redid Dredd.
Yeah.
Ray Stevenson.
Ray Stevenson, yeah, I can't believe we can't remember. Yeah, Ray Stevenson been in a lot of great stuff, but very bad movie.
Yeah.
Of the three of them, the Thomas Jane one had the best scene in between him and Kevin Nash.
Yeah.
The Russian,
The Russian
in the apartment. But I think as a kid, I enjoyed the Dolph Lundgren one more.
Yeah.
Because they had him sitting around with the smoke and meditating with the bullet holes and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff, the cheesy comic book stuff that worked in comics but not on film.
And you had Microchip helping him out.
Yeah, you had everything that I wanted, and I mean, the movie was better than the bad dark hair dye job that Dolph Lundgren
Yeah.
had in the movie.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, go ahead.
Thomas Jane one wasn't bad if they would have cast a different villain. John Travolta was not good.
That was like the start of Travolta really making
Downfall,
bad,
his
poor,
downfall.
poor movie decisions.
Battlefield Earth.
So yeah, that was a labor of love. God bless Scientology, or Theta bless, or Alpha Centauri, or whatever. L. Ron Hubbard bless Scientology. I don't know. What about?
I don't think they bless anything.
I think they do. I mean, somebody's gave Tom Cruise, who's a legitimately
Bless
good
you
actor,
for
but
that money that you gave me.
They keep him from being Me Too'd or Nut House or whatever dark secrets he's hiding. I don't know. I mean, he drinks baby's blood, right? That's probably what he
Yeah,
does.
I think that's it. 'Cause
Yeah.
what is he, like 75 now?
112.
Yeah.
So what other? I mean, of all the and we can call it out here, of all the MCU stuff that appeared on Netflix, which is not canon anymore.
Yeah.
And we had Iron Fist, we had
Luke Cage.
we had Jessica Jones, we had Punisher, we had Daredevil,
And then all of it together into Defenders.
and then you had the Defenders, and then
bad.
but I'm including the villains as well.
Yeah.
Which characters would you like to see pop up in the actual MCU and be by those actors and be canon?
I think you nailed the ones that I'd want. It would be Daredevil, Kingpin, Jessica Jones,
Yeah.
and Punisher.
I'd like to see Purple Man.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
David Tennant was awesome.
creepy
Yeah.
as shit.
Yeah.
What was it? Luke Cage's first villain, Black Mamba or whatever.
or Cottonmouth.
Cottonmouth. That was it. He was spectacular.
And he's
and
going to be Blade.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
can't
know.
do that now.
I know that sucks that he's going to be Blade. I mean, it's great, but
Yeah.
he was a cool character, and that show took a serious nosedive after they killed him off.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
And I didn't even get through season 2.
I didn't either. I started it and didn't really enjoy it,
Yeah.
and they dragged on. Cottonmouth was an interesting character, and the dynamic between him and his she was his sister, right?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, it made for good TV.
Yeah.
And then they got rid of him.
Well,
and
I
was
told
like,
you guys that I did not get through season 1. It was so boring to me. And I wanted to like it.
Yeah.
I love this music. It was great music.
Yeah.
Yeah. On that note, did you see they announced? Well, it's sort of announced that Namor is going to be in Black Panther 2: Wakanda Forever.
Oh, really?
it's
There's been a lot of speculation on that for a while.
It's a guy. They even announced a dude, which there's some. Apparently, he has some anti-homosexual tweets that are going to get him in trouble, I guess. But I don't really know. But his name is Tenoch Huerta, 40-year-old actor.
Say that again?
Tenoch. Tenoch Huerta. Huerta. He's in Narcos, Mexico. Never heard of him. Never seen him.
Oh, it's Huerta.
Huerta. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Roger Huerta was a big MMA star, so that's the only reason I know how to pronounce that. This guy does not scream Namor to me.
No, I've never. Short of that.
Yeah.
No, and then Twitter was all over it today, like putting other people up.
The Rock.
No,
That-
like
that was
Danny
the big one
Yen
for a while.
They wanted him. Yeah, but he looks the part of
Yeah.
Black Adam.
yeah, but like they had like
Well, he can't play Namor. He's on crutches, dude. I mean, you can't swim around when you're on crutches.
you don't know
Looks a
crutches in
little-
the water.
little wings,
wing
Bert.
feet. Little wing feet, yeah.
Let's see if it's still trending on Twitter. But yeah, I saw that today. Now I guess it's a grain of salt because it's not officially announced. But
He may be a great actor, and he'll have to get. I mean, of all the characters for you to
He's
portray
gotta
in
be
all
like-
the MCU, he's got to get into the most shape.
Yeah.
Namor is like a physical specimen.
yeah,
Huh. Well,
They're going to go to Camille and have him talk
yeah.
to him.
Yeah, give me all the juices that you were on. Give me
Yeah.
all of the roids.
yeah. Chris Hemsworth. You see the pictures of him?
Oh, yeah.
being
Well,
at Thor and Love and Thunder.
Yeah, and everybody's going crazy about that, but he's big because he's playing Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
movie.
yeah.
It just happens to be in that first. Speaking of pictures, did you guys see the Zachary Levi's new suit for Shazam?
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that.
That's less doughy, less pillowy,
Yeah.
a little more hard.
Yeah.
Was he? I assume they're going to digitally.
Put a cape
Insert a
on. I'm
cape in
guessing.
him.
Yeah, that's what I was guessing too.
He doesn't look like he has one of those kids' costumes on.
No, yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
look like the.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like the inflatable costumes.
Which I kind of liked that though.
Yeah.
I like it,
liked
too.
the cheese.
Yeah.
It was a good movie.
Well,
I
and
thought it was a good
it
movie.
fit with that character pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this, though, reflects the fact that once we introduce Black Adam, it's going to be a little more serious of a film.
Yeah.
Black Adam, by the way, could be a massive villain or a massive ex machina hero for the non-existent cohesive DC universe that
Yeah.
we see, DC Cinematic Universe. How come we call it this DCCU, right? Is that what it is? DC
DCEU.
Cinematic EU. Why?
Yeah.
Because we call it Extended Universe.
Extended universe.
Yeah, because they have CW verse, they have all of
Yeah.
it,
And they're all technically canon, I guess.
yeah, because it's all multiverse. Which
Yeah.
again, like we made the point on this show, they created multiverse stories. Marvel just jumped on it cinematically
Yeah.
Yeah.
first.
So going back to the Namor thing, though, you think that that's going to be a plot point in the Eternals, the falling of Atlantis?
Maybe
Because they usually do that. They usually introduce a character
Well, they
could-
touched on it already in
in game,
where
But
they talked
then-
about Okoye brought up the fact that there was a disturbance in the ocean.
yeah, and then the at least what we know of the Eternals, it looks like there's some like time jumps around.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you could say whatever the plot device you want for
Yeah.
the Eternals, and I would be like, I'll buy it because I
Yeah.
have no clue. Again, whatever happens, I hope that they don't do a Namor movie, but I hope they use him sparingly.
Yeah.
Up until he gets the hots for Sue Richards. So,
Oh, yeah, that'd be
Sue
cool. Yes.
Storm. Sue Storm. But yeah, that's where it's got to go.
Yeah.
Because that's what that's the biggest thing and the longest running theme in comic books that he's been in love with her since day one.
Yeah, I'll take something. You just grab whatever.
Just grab whatever, dude.
We'll take this.
You take this. That is
Yours.
Main and Mill.
Yeah.
What is
Pretty
it?
solid.
Thursday night incident.
Oh,
Have not
I
had
do
that.
like. Do you have another one in there?
No, that's the only one.
Will you just pour me a little bit of it? I'm drinking wine tonight. I'm fancier than you guys. I'm higher brow.
Well, if you didn't know, if you'd have told me,
I didn't know I was.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop drinking beer weekdays again.
That's a good
try
plan.
to lose some weight. I am down since the purchasing of the bike. I am down 8 pounds.
there you go.
I've also started eating better. I wouldn't say eating great, but better.
Yeah, I need to lose a little weight, but whatever.
Anyway, Jay, what'd you bring? Let's just get into what you have. I'm sure you have more too, as Bender, but
Not a lot, but yeah, I got a couple things.
So
sounds about right.
we talked about this earlier last week.
I'm going to tell you right now before you start a story. You watch where you're pointing that finger. It just came out the gate. Yeah. So here's the deal.
Yeah.
We talked about this last week. Damn
Yeah,
it!
well, okay. I'm sure there's a record of it. You don't have to point at me.
Oh, it's in text.
Okay, what do you got?
So last week, WWE released some wrestlers.
Some big ones.
And-
literally big wrestlers.
Yeah.
Like Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
The big name.
And so the WWE sale rumors are popping up again, and NBC and Disney are the two names that are coming up with it.
So there's a history with NBC.
Yeah.
The former head of NBC Studios was, what was his name? Throughout the 80s. Gosh darn it.
I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his name.
Yeah, I'll have to look him up too. He's best friends with Vince.
Yeah.
They created XFL together.
Yeah.
There's a big history with NBC and they own USA and
Yeah.
So they've got
and all the network stuff has moved over to Peacock.
yes, yeah. So that makes sense. The Disney thing. At this point, I just think that when somebody says purchase, people just throw out the word Disney because Disney can afford
Yeah.
it. It certainly won't help the product if Disney buys it.
No.
The problem with the product is it's too. When they went public, they started it being accountable to shareholders, and those shareholders want advertisers, and advertisers don't like the edgier show, which
The Monday Night War stuff. That
the
got
Monday,
them
that's
huge.
what they want. So that's crazy. Here's another thing. I believe, and you could look it up, that I could be wrong, but after this round of cuts, I believe active roster getting actual television time, there's now only 7 women that are getting. So that's a big deal. They were ushering in the greatest run of women wrestling we've ever seen with the man, the Irish Lass kicker, Becky Lynch, with Ronda Rousey, with Charlotte Flair. She certainly had some other additions that they threw in there, Asuka. And now it's gone.
Yeah.
They just shit all over it. And I made the tweet that, and I did it on the chat boards in Bleacher Report. I made the comment that if they want to streamline payroll, cut creative.
Yeah.
Creative's the problem there. Vince McMahon's still the problem because if you look at the critical success, and I use the word critical loosely because there is journalists that write and cover it, but at the end of the day, we're talking about covering a scripted show, a scripted sporting event. But if you do look at the critical reception that NXT gets, which is ran by Shawn Michaels and Triple H and William Regal, compared to that of the Big Show, which is supposed to be the tallest, the elite, the WWE itself, Raw and SmackDown, it's boring, and they try to cater to everyone. And this one is ran by wrestlers in an old school wrestling way, and it's exciting and fun to watch.
I've heard it's fallen off, though. I mean, I don't watch any of their programming anymore.
Well, because when it was at its heyday, all those guys are up on the roster.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
Yeah.
And they haven't reloaded like they want. And now there would be sustained runs from guys like Finn Balor or Shinsuke Nakamura or even Samoa Joe or Seth Rollins before that.
Joe's gone, though, too.
Yeah, but those were sustained runs that they had. But now, as soon as a guy gets a little bit of heat behind him, a little bit of push, they throw him up on the Big Show and fuck him up.
Yeah.
There are some guys down there that, like Johnny, what's his name, Johnny Gargano, and Adam Cole, that just don't look like they'll ever come up, but they're tremendously good workers.
Yeah. But they're smaller guys, too.
And they just need talent around them to tell a great story.
Yeah.
Adversely, AEW is kicking ass.
Yeah, it is.
Its ratings are great. Super Tom and me texted this in the last couple of weeks. My tickets are now good for Friday, November 5th, I think. So I think what I'm going to do is, I know I asked you, but I think Hayden wants to go, so I think me and Hayden are going to go that night.
Yep.
And then Tom's going to sell his tickets, and he's going to buy tickets for the pay-per-view that's the next night in St. Louis. So there's a Friday and Saturday. So I'll go see 2 AEW shows, which we should talk to Tom if he hasn't bought them. I don't think they're on sale yet.
Yeah.
We should go.
Yeah,
you should go with
definitely.
us. So I'll go 2 nights in a row, and I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
2 nights of wrestling. I did that when I was a kid when it was St. Louis, Kansas City for pay-per-views. I'd go back-to-back Raw the night after the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And I tell you, this is how big of nerds we were in college. We'd drive up mapping out where all the wrestlers, because what people don't know is, I don't know if they still do this, but back in the day for a big pay-per-view, they would strategically place the wrestlers all over the state that they were wrestling in for like public appearances at McDonald's, at
Draw people
Walmart,
in.
at the Book Barn in Joplin. So I met, we stopped and met Mick Foley at the Book Barn, rolled out of the Book Barn, drove to Columbia, saw Ken Shamrock at a Walmart.
Yeah.
Drove close to St. Louis. I can't remember where it was. Saw X-Pac and Triple H when they were DX.
Yeah.
And then got into St. Louis where in Wentzville somewhere we saw The Rock. And then we went to our hotel and then we went and saw the show the next night.
Yeah.
That was our trick to go see. I got all these autographs of all these guys.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, Shamrock, at the time, I was still in really good shape. He goes, I said, hey, man, I've been a huge fan of you. I'm a martial artist. I've done jiu-jitsu. I said, I'm a big fan of you. That part of your life? He goes, Ken Shamrock, and he wasn't lying. He goes, there'll be a day for that again someday. He goes, you're a big dude. You ever think about it? I go, yeah, I love it, but I don't know that it's in the cards for me. He goes, then I don't suggest you step into it. I'm like, good advice.
Yeah. Are you playing a part right now?
Well, if you know Ken Shamrock, he's a pretty intense, kind of over-the-top moron, but still wrestling.
Yeah.
Still going
Is he
strong.
really?
An Impact, or Ring of Honor.
Is it?
Yeah, Ring of Honor.
What's that dude,
Which
like
is
a
supposed to be
million?
coming on Bally soon.
Yeah, Ring of Honor's always holding on, man.
Yeah.
They hold on, but I don't know. We'll see. What else you got? That was a good one, though.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Jupiter's Legacy got canceled.
Yeah, that was one thing I was going to bring up and throw it to Missy, so I'm not even going to watch it.
Yeah.
I was
No,
going
me
to
either.
watch it. You know what? What sucked about it, too, is you gave us your critique of it, which
Yeah.
wasn't fair.
Yeah.
It was average. It had to stretch to get to average.
Yeah.
But every time I watch the fucking trailers for it, I'm like, God, how can that show be bad?
Yeah.
It looks amazing.
So there's another comic or pop culture podcast I listen to, and two guys on there read all the comics.
Let me stop you right there. There's no other pop culture podcast other than us.
They're in a whole nother continent.
There's a people
It's
that
fine.
attempt. Okay. If there's water between us, we'll allow it.
Yeah. But they read all the comics, and they said their biggest critique, and they said they enjoyed the show. It was just that the entire season was like the first half of the first and second comic book.
Yeah.
Like, it was not. They didn't get into anything else that happens in like the first run at
Yeah.
all. And he was like, "This is a cool lead up, but you could have done all this flashback stuff in like one episode and been done, and not
Yeah, they
not
really
the whole
could've.
season."
Yeah, it was probably at least 2 episodes too long.
Yeah, and the
And-
budget was like $2 million an episode or something
$200
crazy.
million budget.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah. that is
and I guess it's all like the period set pieces and all
well,
that.
and the tremendous amount of CG and special effects they
Yeah,
had.
yeah.
Did they have
had
a lot?
They
'Cause they said
had
there
some
wasn't a
big
lot of
fights.
action. Oh,
Yeah.
well, did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cars thrown at each other. I mean, a lot of stuff.
I mean,
Well, I guess.
there was one where
where they fight.
they were fighting a bad guy, and it was like 8
where, it's
different superheroes
where they're fighting
him.
Mongol.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's Mongol from DC. That's
Oh,
pretty
okay.
much.
Yeah, it's exactly from the trailer. I go, oh, it's Mongol.
Yeah.
It's either Mongol or Darkseid, but Darkseid's more calculating than that. But it's Mongol. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
yeah.
Which made me want to watch it more.
Yeah.
But now that it's canceled, I will not give it a time of
Well, they technically didn't cancel it. They said that it's on hold, and they released all the actors so they could
That's-
redo it if they wanted.
Every time that's ever happened
it's
in
canceled.
history is canceled.
Everybody
Yeah.
knows it's canceled.
Josh Duhamel posted a pic with the shirt off, all ripped, and let
Yeah.
him know that I don't have a job anymore.
Yeah.
They're moving though to Super
Marvel.
Crooks.
This is the next one.
Yeah.
They're giving Mark Miller as much.
He's got a
control.
whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Millerverse is deep. It's big. You and I have been big, advocates for Chrononauts. But it just, with the exception of Kick-Ass, which gave a serious, tried to be as faithful as they could translation of his stuff. You got to. I mean, he's one of those guys like you couldn't just half-ass translate a Warren Ellis story.
No.
We've seen that. And certainly the best effort was probably From Hell, followed by Watchmen. Alan Moore, you can't half-ass translate it.
Yeah.
But Mark Miller's not much different. I mean, he's very adult, very edgy, but also very complex. And when you fuck it up big.
Like the easiest one, I think, would be Chrononauts because
Because it's an
like,
action movie.
The first arc, at least, is just a basic action movie.
The second arc would be too convoluted, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
But the first one is a fun fucking...
Yeah, it's just a quick ride. It's a good time.
Those 3 issues, I read them in 5 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
thought, well, that was an action movie.
Yeah,
So.
it was fun. Like it wrote itself. It's almost like he was like, "I'm gonna write a movie real quick," and then threw it on and had somebody draw it up for him.
I think that's pretty much what he does at this point. Is
Yeah.
he knows all this stuff's going to get options, so he writes it as a movie script,
Yeah.
and then has someone draw it.
And then like,
Once you get...
and it's not just someone. The guy who drew it is what's his name?
Which
Who
one?
does the sharp chins? Chrononauts.
Oh, Sean Murphy.
Oh, that's Sean Murphy. The first
yeah,
one, Sean
thank you. I
Murphy.
could not think of it.
Yeah, as big as an artist going today.
Yeah, all of his chins are the same though.
Yeah, well, he actually had a thing on Twitter one time talking about chins and noses and how he had to actually change them.
Yeah.
And for his second, not the White Knight, but the second one, whatever it was called.
Oh,
It's still the White Knight, but it's a second version
but
of
he had
it.
to change. He goes, he said, I noticed that everything was based on the same look.
Yeah.
So I had to start changing.
And I
That's
love
how
his
you grow
look.
as an artist.
Like his vehicles are spectacular.
Well, that's how he got into it.
Yeah.
Drawing that he drew some like little teeny bopper love story
Yeah.
about some kids in a Jeep. Mm-hmm. That's how. And then every story was always focused around a motorcycle
Yeah.
or something. But yeah, I was going somewhere else with Miller. I think we were talking about, but
like Wanted, like they did that and it was stupid.
Well,
they
but
took,
I mean,
they
like,
took
but
the
that's
superhero stuff out of it.
they took the superhero stuff out of it, and they did not cast Eminem.
No.
That
No.
was a different.
And
Although
also-
the guy that was in it, Professor X, what's his name? He was good. I mean, he's a good actor.
He's a good
And I'd
actor.
argue that Wanted is not that bad of a movie, but it's not why the comic was great.
Right.
And I didn't really love the comic. I thought it was, but it's very adult, and you couldn't have done that type of marketing with that. Like the way they marketed that movie, it didn't tie together. But the Loom really killed it. If they would have done anything else
That was
besides
so
the Loom,
stupid.
Yeah.
like the bending bullets thing, like fine,
Which is
fine.
Which is kind of weird though, because the Loom has more to do with like Norse mythology and that Ragnarok and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That fits better over in Thor than it did in Wanted. It was just dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just dumb.
I was watching. I'm like, I'm all right with this, and then they pulled out the Loom, and I'm like, I'm out.
Yep,
Fuck
I'm
this.
done.
I'm done.
I'm done.
The one I want them to do is Nemesis, where it was kind of his
I remember
version
that.
of evil Batman.
Yeah.
Okay.
What happens if your parents get murdered and you become a bad guy instead of a good guy
Yeah.
in that situation?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's another one like Star Brand or Star something that I think they're doing next or after
Yeah.
the next one.
That
It's
was
supposed to
more
be
like
pretty
a
good.
pulp hero.
Yeah.
I read that one. I enjoyed the comic.
It's on my pull list on Hoopla.
You got a big topic before we throw it to Missy or anything?
No, nothing huge. Let me get back to where my list. Staying on comics though. I finally read Spider-Man's Kraven's Last Hunt.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever read it. At least I
the
didn't
original.
remember- the original
Kraven's Last Hunt.
Kraven's
Yeah, that was
Last
a big
Hunt.
story. He gets
Yeah.
Spider-Man buried alive.
Yeah, it's really dark. Like, have
Good
you guys
book,
read
man.
it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's been
It's
a long
really
time.
dark.
That was
and,
one of those ones when I got out of high school and got out of my quote unquote small town of Lamar and got into the big metropolis of Joplin, when I could finally put together these classic stories.
Yeah.
That was one of the first ones. It and Watchmen was like, I had to get them.
Yeah, and it is good. Spider-Man's wearing the black suit, but it doesn't have its Venom powers or anything yet. And Kraven is very creepy obsessed, like homoerotic almost.
Yeah, I see that.
I mean, like the ending when he spoiler alert blows his brains out, I was like, holy shit, that's a lot darker than I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's made a recent run in Nick Spencer's where he collects all of the animal themed superheroes and then
All the animal
and
totems,
villains
because they always do those totems in Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's like like in this one, that Vermin was like another side character. So he brings all them and like Vulture and Scorpion. He throws them all in Central Park and locks them in, and he's hunting them. And Spider-Man's like trying to save all these villains and fight Kraven at the last time. My only complaint is I always thought Kraven was massive, and I always think of Peter Parker as like a wiry dude.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not notice that, like, when he dresses up as Spider-Man, the size difference is ridiculous? Like, I know it's a comic book, but it always drove me insane. Like, Kraven is, like, your size.
Yeah, he's a big guy. He's
Like,
a big guy.
massive dude. Like, so when he puts on the black suit, I mean, it's probably slimming.
Oh, he
but not
dresses
that
as
slimming.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, like,
okay, I missed
So
that
after
part.
he
Sorry.
kills Spider-Man,
you mean in the original? I thought we were
Both.
still talking about the
Both.
new. Okay.
So in both, like in Kraven's Last Hunt, he runs around as Spider-Man for a while and basically ruins his reputation.
That I knew, yeah. But that's a gimmick that they've always.
I know, it
Yeah.
just drives me nuts
It
because I'm
does.
like, he's so much bigger than
Yeah.
Spider-Man, and it drove me insane. In both issues, the new run and Nick Spencer's run and the old one,
Yeah.
like it just.
Well, let's stick with the comic books, and let's go ahead and throw it to Missy, and let's hit on some quick things that we got to talk about. And I'm going to lead with, you guys brought this up last episode. We were all together, so it made me want to read it. So I read Age of Khonshu
Okay.
on Avengers.
Okay.
I did not think it was awesome. I think it's at 3 at best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with
I
you
think it was
guys.
great.
It's not, I agree with you guys. It was like, well, I don't mind how he beat them because these little totem things could suck their power out. So some complaints I have about it is, one, it was too quick. It was over too fast and very forgettable. I can't even tell you how it ended after I read it. I forgot all about it.
Jason Aaron's whole run is kind of like that.
And everything leads to one another. And little hot take here is I've never been the most massive Tony Stark fan. I'm a fan of Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal of him.
Yeah.
But in the comic books, how everything's centered around him. Now Mephisto's centered around him.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
It's all. I mean, why Tony Stark? Why? Why now? I mean,
why is his
also,
spoiler alert his dad back or what? I don't fucking care.
Also,
Well, he has a brother too.
yeah,
Does he?
Yeah, it's all. And also, by the way, I have a real big problem when they go around talking about how he's the smartest man in the universe. Reed Richards is smarter.
Yeah.
Just that's all there is to it.
Black Panther's smarter.
I
Or
don't.
if
I
at
don't
least as smart.
I also have a problem with what they do with Black Panther. They Batman the shit out of Black Panther,
Yeah.
where he could just, and they do it in this comic book too. He's chained down, and then all of a sudden he could just break out of nowhere. So Black Panther is not, and I love Captain America. At best, he's Captain America's strength.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neither of those two are Spider-Man's strength. In a one-on-one matchup, Spider-Man should be able to beat the shit out of both of them.
Yeah.
Because Spider-Man is. He's
the equivalent
he's not
relative
the-
strength of a spider.
He's not the Incredible Hulk, but physically, he's way more gifted than 90% of the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
Because he's Spider, but, whatever. But, so the other thing that it just bothered me, like, how this was a Moon Knight story, but Moon Knight really didn't have much to do with it.
No.
The only thing I liked about it the most is when Black Panther did get out, and he starts beating the shit out of Moon Knight, and it was Moon Knight wanting to get the Phoenix inside him.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
I found that to be cool. I also like how they, what they did with the Ghost Rider. They really, like you said, one of the things that has been enjoyable about this Jason
His
Aaron
name, Robbie
run,
Reyes, I think.
this Jason Aaron, is how much hyped power they've made Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
And that was a big power. The one he kept for himself was the Ghost Rider power because it was very powerful.
And if you go back and read, that's probably Jason Aaron's best part on this whole run is like he's really like fleshed him out as a character, like what he wants, what he doesn't want, and like learning to control that power was a pretty good arc.
It may be currently, and I'm not saying overall, but it may be one of my favorite revampings and passing down of the mantle of any character right now going is the Ghost Rider. I will say this, though. When I first read the first two story arcs of Jason Aaron's run on Avengers, I thought, well, they're inside the body of a Celestial as their base. All right, it's a little hacky, but I'll give it a chance. It makes for some good visuals from time to time. Still think Avengers Tower, there's a certain nostalgia, there's a certain love of comic books that makes me love Avengers Tower.
Or even if they had a
Or
facility
mansion.
like in the movies. Even.
Yeah, and to me, the movies is Avengers Mansion.
Yeah.
They just didn't do it. It's called
Just outside of New York.
Yeah. So okay, that's okay. But and the other thing, when I first read it, I go, well, this is kind of cool. But then now, every time it pops up, the Millennium Avengers, I can't stand them.
Yeah.
The Ghost Rider on the woolly mammoth. The Phoenix.
The original
Odin.
By the way, the Iron Fist and the Black Panther also not on those characters' level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should not be that powerful. I mean, it's just
because that version of Black Panther would just have super strength, and that's
Just
it from
Black
the
Panther
flower.
strength.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, the Phoenix is there.
Yeah.
It's Odin and the Phoenix and then everyone else. Oh, well, Odin and the Phoenix and then the Ghost Rider power and then the Star Brand. I forget the Star Brand's pretty powerful. But it's all silly. It's just silly.
Yeah.
And I like Jason Aaron, and I do like McGinnis's art.
I kind of like the silliness to a degree. I think it's kind of fun.
Well,
especially after reading Straczynski's run, where it was just so fucking heavy all the time. And
On Spider-Man, you mean?
no,
He didn't do the Avengers.
No.
No, I'm talking
Hickman.
thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Hickman.
Hickman, I do enjoy like the light read of it after reading Hickman's run.
So
I don't know who did it between them.
I'm going to let you finish your thought, Jay, but I'm going to bring up something in a movie I watched this week here in a minute. But Hickman, and you'll know this comparison when I bring it up, but Hickman is the most Hickman-y writer of all time.
Yeah.
Like when you read a book and you don't know who writes it, that's Hickman.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
you can never miss a Hickman story.
Infographics? Yeah, that's Hickman.
Oh yeah, it's Hickman.
So you guys, you're all caught up then, I guess, on the Avengers right now? to
No.
a degree?
I am not. I just wanted to read that Age of Khonshu.
Yeah.
Because, by the way, I love Moon Knight. I
Yeah.
love Stephen Platt's
love Moon Knight, too.
ridiculous art on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Misproportioned bullets from all different angles, just crazy.
Yeah.
Costume made of milk.
Yeah, I wear white so that people see me coming. That's a fucking cool.
Yeah.
That's a cool idea.
Cool stuff.
And I really liked.
Hey, before I forget, don't let me forget. Just remind me before we're all said and done. Kickstarter, and then go from there. All right, go ahead.
I really liked when they switched him to like an actual like suit, and he was riding around in the Bentley or whatever.
Mr. Knight?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. Knight. That's fucking cool, man. Gorilla Man, though, there was an arc early on in his run where Gorilla Man like turned on him, but that's never came back around. At least, and maybe they address it in another set of books or whatever. And that pissed me off because Gorilla Man's cool. I really like Agents of Atlas,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
and he's a great character. He's just a dude who accidentally killed a gorilla or a guy who had gorilla powers, and then he gets him, and nobody's ever killed him. And it's just a basic, terrible character from the 50s that they've made a little more interesting.
Which is awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Go ahead.
So I think my issue with Aaron is what I see a lot with Marvel writers is when they're trying to get established, they write these incredible arcs, but then when Marvel just hands them the reins and they
You are
just like
100% accurate.
they
That
just
is-
go off the rails.
You can look at Bendis. You
Yep.
can look at Hickman. You
Yep.
can look at a lot of guys, and like you're right. Sometimes, actually, I would say 99% of the times in comic books, you need a very good editor that's in charge.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, when Jeff Loeb over in DC, Jeff Loeb wrote some of the most amazing stories for both Marvel and DC.
Yeah.
But once he was given the keys to the kingdom, kind of fell off. Who was the other?
Jeff Johns did
Jeff
that,
Johns,
too.
the other
Yeah.
one, yeah. Jeff Johns, when he was isolated to the Flash only,
Yes.
was maybe the best writer in comics for a good 5-year span.
Yeah.
And then when he was given the keys to the kingdom, it was like, oh, I'm stretched too thin. Now, Bendis is the only guy that has ever wrote 16 titles and had 14 of them be good.
Yeah.
Kirkman's tried it, and
Yeah.
he's accomplished it a little bit. But again, go ahead, Bender.
Oh, I was just in that Aaron run, like going back to your point, like he's got them going up against Namor's bad guys. I forget what they're called, Agents of the Deep or whatever,
Yeah.
Defenders of the Deep. The other version of the U.S. Avengers, like the Avengers of America or whatever.
Yeah.
The Red, the Russians, and vampires. I'm like,
Yeah.
when are you going to get to a point?
Yeah.
Like, you don't even hold a whole arc where you're fighting one of them at one time, and now like you're just not getting to a point. And then all of a sudden, Moon Knight's a bad guy,
Yeah.
out of nowhere.
If you sit there and compare that to his Thor run,
Yeah.
the Thor run was so tight.
It
and everything
was.
was
Yeah,
great.
that's
And
what I'm
then-
saying.
Smaller scale. Well, it's hard to call a Norse story a smaller scale story.
But it was massive.
Certainly
Yeah.
isolated to around about 3 to 4 characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of 14.
But it was like Thor's early run,
Yeah.
where he was the God Killer, and then it was She-Thor, and then he did a little bit with
I enjoyed
Thor's
that.
Redemption.
I told you I enjoyed that War of the Realms. I
Yeah.
thought that was all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and that's why I dove right into this, and it's still fun. I like them bringing Blade back in. I kind of have a good time with it.
Okay, that's another thing too. This is the first story I've read with Blade as a part of the team. I like it in theory, but there's too much of Blade bitching.
Yeah.
Like bitches. Oh, that's your problem. You don't fucking kill people.
He's basically, they were like, oh, we've used Wolverine too much. Who can we stick in there that's not
100%.
Wolverine?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Well, that and then wasn't Tony like moping the whole time because he got beat? Oh
Yeah.
no, that was in the last.
Oh,
day.
that was in King in Black.
Yes.
Yeah, that was.
I didn't read King in
the
Black.
Black.
Yeah, you're
The Kree
absolutely.
the Kree Skulls versus the plant people.
Absolutely. Yeah, that I can't remember the name of it now, but yeah, that one was awful too.
Empire.
Empire. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
He moped around. He was essentially a drunk without the booze.
Yeah.
Again, I'm tired of Tony. I'm
Yeah.
just tired of Tony.
Yeah,
stuff.
and he's been
It
around.
worked better for me when Captain America, who was the ultimate symbol for hope in the Marvel Universe, he's not on the power level, but in terms of what he means to be a hero, it's him and Superman.
Yeah.
Hey, and
And
he's
so-
kind of taking a back seat on this team in Aaron's run.
Big time.
Like
Big time.
It's they almost never really focus on him at all. And this last arc was mostly Tony, but up until that point, it was like a lot of Reyes and.
Well, I've got. Let's skip off of that. I got two more throw it to Missy's, but I'm gonna let one of you go. So it looks like Jay, you got your notes up.
So I watched Utopia with John Cusack.
Oh, I got him to watch it on Prime.
You did know that it was not going to come back for a second season.
I did.
Okay.
I loved it.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah, I did too. And
Yeah, it was really
I'm
good.
So disappointed that it's
Well,
not coming
and I
back.
convinced him to watch it before I found out it was canceled.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I
just
was
a
on
good-
like the 8th episode, and then I'm like looking at, or I don't remember how it was. I had one left when they
Yeah.
announced that it was canceled. And I'm like, son of a bitch, I still gotta finish.
John
it.
Cusack, good, mysterious bad guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Very dark. You said
Yeah.
very dark, and you go, does this thing ever not get dark? I go, oh baby, it only gets darker from
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
But the cool, Rainn Wilson,
Yeah.
awesome in it.
So did you watch the British version?
No,
Because they did 2 seasons of that.
I did not.
So I'm gonna have to go watch that now to see how that ended.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because that's what the Brits do. Tell a one finite story.
Yeah.
In a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will have to check it out. But you did enjoy it, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good.
I finished the first season of Mythic Quest.
Okay.
Yep.
That's good. Bring this up because, and then I'm going to spin off of that and talk about Mythic Quest.
And
It's one of my
I haven't
top
started the
missions.
second season.
I'm going to give you not a spoiler, but I'm going to tell you
It's okay.
something.
I loved it. Like,
Okay.
absolutely loved it. Like, what's his? Rob
McElroy.
McElroy.
Yeah.
Thank you. I can never.
McElroy. It's weird. It's not
It
pronounced
doesn't
like
matter.
yeah.
We know what we were talking about.
He was on Smartless this week. I haven't listened to it yet
He
with
was on
Jason
a-
Bateman and
Yeah.
Sean
Hayes.
and Will Arnett.
Yeah, he like just fucking great and Poppy. Like they're the character dynamics, and I really like Daniel Pudi being kind of an asshole.
So you'll
yeah.
like season 2 more because
Yeah.
Daniel Pudi is a big focal. He has a brother. Spoiler.
Okay.
But he's a big focal. I mean, he from the first episode of season 2 going. They're like, we got one of the world's coolest improv artists. Let's use him. And
Yeah.
they're doing it.
I just loved how bad he was. And that last scene, like you said that
It's
the
deep.
Zoom episode. Not only was it deep, but like it was just entertaining all together, all
Absolutely.
around.
And then the post story scene, the Rube
when they all
Goldberg
come.
machine
Yeah.
awesome. So out of 5, season 1.
I'd give it a solid 4.5.
Dude, I'm telling you what, and if we still were a drinking game, us talking about Ted Lasso would have to jump in the lexicon of taking shots. But Ted Lasso's at the top of the food chain in terms
Yeah.
of not just Apple TV shows, but TV shows in general for me. But it is way closer than people think with Mythic Quest. It's a good fucking show.
It's just fun and like very low stakes office comedy for the most part. But the dynamic between Poppy and him, Ian, is spectacular. And the little twist with Pootie at the end.
that was good.
It's good stuff.
Now, did you watch the true season finale?
I haven't watched the one after the Zoom.
Okay, that's the
I
season
know, that's
finale.
the one that they originally wanted.
Piggybacking on your throw it to Missy topic, I'm going to give you my throw it to Missy topic, and this is not a spoiler warning. It is, I guess, you're going to just knowing this episode's out, but the newest episode from Friday.
So it is weekly?
Every
Yeah.
Friday.
Oh, okay.
The CW Longbottom episode. It's
Yeah.
the origin of him.
Yeah.
With
the best-
Big Head playing him.
It's the best episode of the whole show.
Yes.
Is it really?
It's so goddamn good. And here's why. What's the running joke from season 1? He writes backstory.
Yeah.
So it's the origin of not just C.W. Longbottom becoming an author.
Yeah.
And how he becomes an author is the most... It makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also the origin of backstories in video games.
Yeah.
Like, it's been his dream to write
Yeah.
backstories. I'll tell you this. For a character that's always been kind of a very stale, one-dimensional character, it is the best fleshing out of a character that didn't need fleshing out that a show might have done. They give you a true origin story that's kind of sympathetic and kind of he's an asshole.
Yeah.
And then... And it's very meta because it's the backstory on a guy that writes backstory.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's a 5 out of 5 layup, and it was so good that it was one of my throw it to Missy topics.
So like going back to season 1 again. What I think it's episode 6 where it's the Oblique Studios episode.
Yes.
Like it just comes out of nowhere.
That's
so-
what this one does.
So the Ringer wrote an article this week about this last episode and said that those 2 episodes were the best ones of the show.
That was a great one
because
though.
they break it up, but they also give you like background and
Yeah.
Easter eggs going forward.
They did.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
when he makes Poppy assistant creative director or whatever, and they.
Yeah.
But I mean, like that episode was a movie in and of itself within an hour.
Well,
It
and
was
you're
a
sitting there
good,
like-
solid.
What does it have to do
Yeah.
with anything?
Yeah.
How does this tie into everything else I've already watched?
Yeah, and then Nick? What is his name? Jake Johnson. Jake.
Yeah.
I was just want to say
Yeah,
that.
Jake Johnson. Just fucking everything he does is like gold.
Yes.
But
For a show that is about essentially World of Warcraft,
Yeah.
for a show that's about a video game, it is very deep. And I tell you, if I were to, kind of like I did with Ted Lasso in the Dart episode, if I were to tell you to, hone in on one episode, I would tell people, if you want to know how deep the show can get, start with the pandemic episode.
yeah.
Then watch the season finale. You'll get a little bit of. Then go and watch the 2 origin episodes. God damn, that's good TV.
Yeah.
It's good TV. And I tell you what.
And they bring in just nobody you expect for these episodes with characters you'll
like
never
Big
see
Head,
again.
Yeah. Big
I
Head.
think Anthony Hopkins is in the opening credits or he's the announcer in the the original ending, their original ending before COVID.
Oh yeah, he's the narrator.
He's a narrator,
Yeah.
And he was on Seth Meyers' show, and they're like, he goes, I always get like, how did you get Anthony Hopkins, and how did you get this person? He's like, I offered them money. Like everyone likes money.
And especially through the pandemic, where all you have to do is do some VO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, all you have to do is sit in a studio.
Yeah.
Like you do it at home.
Yep.
You're Anthony Hopkins. I'm sure you have the finances to create a studio if you don't have one already.
Oh yeah.
That was super good. I've got one more thing, and then anything else you guys bring up.
Have you guys watched, just staying on the Apple TV thing, have any of you guys watched any of the other stuff like Mosquito Coast or anything?
I have not yet. Although we did bring that up on here. Or no, I brought that up to our friend Jeff, the Wallings. He didn't know that was a movie first.
Yeah.
And it's all based on.
I didn't know it was a movie
But
either.
Yeah, and the movie is Harrison Ford and River Phoenix, and it was a big
Oh.
movie when it came out.
Really?
Yeah, it was a great movie. It's still worth watching. It's a good movie. Now I hear the show is more true to the source material, and it fleshes out a lot.
I want to watch it because I like that. I like the actors in it.
Yeah, and it's I'll tell you this: the movie's worth going and finding and watching. It's a good movie.
And I think that
Tom brought up the space
Mankind?
one. Yeah.
he said it's really good.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he
That's
brought
right.
that up in
And
text.
it's my next show that I'm going to watch.
You still have the sign in, right?
Yeah, I do.
You're good.
Yeah.
I got on
That's
2
my next
TVs
show.
now.
Yeah, we actually we were talking about you at the pool or over at the Wallings. We ran over there and because we were going to go watch a movie with one of their neighbors that Hayden went to school with and
Yeah.
stuff. And we ended up just swimming and going home. We didn't go watch the outdoor movie
Yeah.
Cruella because my kids don't give a fuck about Disney movies as a
Yeah.
whole.
Hey, that ride on The Last Dragon was pretty solid.
Oh yeah, that's it's inaccurately titled. It's Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon is what it's supposed to be, but still. When we were talking about you and your TVs, we were talking about any of the. So Hayden knows this. It's okay to talk about. This is our golden birthdays this Friday.
Yeah.
11 on the 11th. So I
That's what a golden birthday is?
yeah.
I'm just fucking with you.
So I tried, and I told her I've been trying since April to get her a PS5 to no avail. And
Yeah.
so we made a deal. I said, I'm going to get you a PS5 as soon as they become available. I don't give a fuck when, what's going on, get you a PS5. And we were talking about, like, having a sleepover, and then I said, yeah, Alyssa, you can sleep over anytime you want. I said, if Hayden would have got her PS5 for her birthday, it'd have been great. You guys could have tried it. And then Missy not knowing how video games really work. She's like, oh, you could put the 4 and the 5 next to each other and play them. I go, well, you'd have to have 2 TVs.
Yep.
And then I said, and Jeff goes, yeah, you could even have some more if you know what we were talking about Madeline. We could have Madeline over, and then Jeff goes, no, actually, we could send him over to Jay's house because he's got Jay's TVs. His living room is much like every '80s movie where it was a rich bachelor who
Yeah.
had multiple networks.
I've seen his shadows.
Yeah. So he's got every news channel in the Dow
Yeah.
Jones going.
Yeah.
Like, he's like Bruce Wayne from
You a day trader?
He's like Tim Burton's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
You know.
The shuttle launch last year popped up on my Facebook feed as a memory.
Yeah.
We had 3 different feeds of the shuttle launch.
Yeah.
So
I think
He's
you were
watching it from
watching
all
like
angles.
several. I think it was at the beginning of the pandemic, and you're like, "I'm all right," and there was like 4 different sports on.
yeah.
If I don't know if technology's advanced so much that this is a thing, but if porn ever gets you multiple angle cuts, he can watch every angle at
Yeah.
one time.
Well, they got VR for that.
Yeah, it's got to be multiple angles.
Yeah.
So the last thing I have in the throat to Missy is I watched. Speaking of, you can't get any more Hickman-y than Hickman. You can't get any more Guy Ritchie-er than Guy Ritchie.
Yeah.
I watched Wrath of Man over
Yeah, I
the
saw
weekend.
your tweet about this.
So it still had some nonlinear storytelling and how it tells a story and then it tracks back and tells you the other angle and how they all tie together. So that's very much a Ritchie thing.
Yeah.
With Snatch, how the stories all converge on the scene in front of the bar where everybody hits each other, and it's a fucking great movie. And before going into this review of the movie, I just want you guys to know that, to me, the hierarchy of great directors is like Tarantino, Spielberg, there's somebody, but Guy Ritchie's up there.
Yeah.
I love Guy Ritchie movies.
Yeah, he's never going to win an Oscar, but they're always entertaining.
But and maybe one day he should.
Maybe.
He's just not going to do it by making movies like Wrath of Man.
Yeah.
But I'm going to jump to my great rating of the movie. It's a 4 out of 5. It's a very enjoyable movie. The things I liked about it is, even though in all Guy Ritchie movies there's like this ultimate badass. Jason Statham is that ultimate badass. But the thing that's great about it is that he doesn't throw a punch or kick really in the whole fucking movie.
That's cool.
It's all guns.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so what it is, it's essentially a revenge heist movie is the best way I could say it. But I gotta tell you, man, Jason Statham, Josh Hartnett, Scott Eastwood, Andy Garcia, Laz Alonso, and if you don't know who that is, that's Mother from The Boys.
Okay.
And then just a tons more people that you'll recognize. It was $20 because it's still in the theater.
Yeah.
But I gotta tell you, we may go watch, because Hayden wants to go walk to a movie because we haven't been in like years, obviously, and she wants to go see A Quiet Place too. So we may go watch it in the theater.
I'd see that in the theater.
Yeah, me too.
My daughter went this week and saw it.
Did she
you think?
like it?
Yeah. Yeah,
I heard
she
it was
liked it a
good.
lot. Yeah.
I heard the reviews are really good.
But
Yeah.
going back to the Reed Richards, God, please make Krasinski read.
he's not going to do it.
And just let him direct the fucking movie.
Yeah.
Let him
I'd
let him
sweeten the
direct
pot.
it.
Oh, easily.
Sweeten the pot.
He's not going to do it.
Sweeten the pot, Bender.
He's not going to do it.
We've
I'm just
already
telling
said
you.
how much money Disney has, and what does money do? Money gets money gets Anthony Hopkins to do a
Well, he
voiceover
might do it
on a TV show
He
about a
might
video
do
game.
it, but Emily Blunt
She said no.
said no.
Okay, that's fine. You don't need Emily Blunt. I don't need that.
I mean, I kind of need Emily Blunt.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would need Emily Blunt, but back to Wrath of Man. When you get a chance, watch it. This is a slight spoiler-ish. Scott Eastwood's kind of ends up being the big bad in it, and he's
Slight spoiler-ish.
so he's a you as soon as you see him on screen, you're like, oh, he's a bad guy.
He's a bad guy.
So he's got his eyes of his dad, and he's got that lineage of who's kind of a real life villain for how right wing he is now, but still. It's very easy for him to always be the heartthrob in his movies. He's an awesome bad guy and a dirtbag in this. And he's believable, which is what's hard to believe because he's a good-looking dude. It's hard for good-looking guys to believable to be pieces of shit, just exude shittiness. He does it good. It's worth it. Just go watch Wrath the Man when you get a chance. I'm in. It was a good movie. So that's all I got. That's it. What else do you guys got? And throw it to Missy Bender.
Seth Rogen announced his Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, and I'm super pumped. There's not a lot of details, but his basic pitch was, I've made a lot of movies about teenagers, and they're always good, and I can make this one a good one.
It's
And-
not wrong, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm
that pitch
pumped.
has me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he did post a tweet and of a picture, and it was basically Leonardo draw. It was like as high school drawings in a book of board drawings, and I think it's going to borrow a little bit from the Nickelodeon cartoon where the ooze changed humans into other weird things and stuff because they
Yeah.
were doing some testing, some different stuff like that. But it looks great, and it's going to be fun, and I think it's going to be. And his whole thing was it's going to be animated, which I'm a little disappointed in, but it's going to be a teenage movie, and I'm pumped for that.
Yeah.
It won't be R because Nickelodeon's still in on it.
PG-13 would be a very
Yeah.
good acceptable
Yeah.
substitute.
I don't think they. I don't think he'd
Yeah, I
be like,
don't
give
see
me a
that
full
either.
PG. And it's his other guy,
Evan
Goldberg.
Goldberg.
Yeah, Evan Goldberg.
They're not-
It's them two together
Yeah.
doing it. So
Yeah, they're still together.
Yeah, it's James
him
Franco.
and James Franco.
Well, no. Well, James Franco was never a part of the writing team, but it's Will Ferrell's no longer with his writing partner.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he Adam
Evan McKay.
Evan McKay.
Adam McKay. Yeah,
Adam
you're
McKay.
right.
Yeah,
you're right.
they don't write together anymore.
How come?
Was
Was
they
it
didn't
a
have
falling out?
No, he said they didn't have a falling out, but they wrote for 15, 20 years together. He said we're now
Ran out of
writing-
stuff.
McKay started doing a little more serious stuff like The Big Short.
Yeah.
And so that's probably where it happened.
Yeah.
By the way, just real quick, just to give you a nod back to how much I love Guy Ritchie. One of the most underrated movie in the last couple of years in terms of big directors. By the way, Guy Ritchie's King Arthur was awful. I can admit that. The Charlie Hunnam King Arthur.
Yeah, I know what it is.
Swept
But-
away awful?
Huh?
Swept away awful? Or
No, pretty bad though.
Yeah.
I don't think I
it's
watched-
so bad. I've only
I don't
watched
think I
it.
have either, but I've
only-
heard that's pretty bad.
I've only-
I mean, he bashed it himself.
Yeah. But that was
That's the Madonna one, right?
Yeah, but that was because of his wife.
Yeah.
I mean, he got fucked over, man. I mean,
And the other one I can think of-
Hey, women, man, they're a motherfucker. I believe
2002?
Yeah.
the line is bitches, man. They're a motherfucker.
3.6 out of 10. 5% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That was the one at the premiere where they're like, well, what do you think of the movie? He goes, it's absolute crap.
Yeah, oh,
She
yeah.
smacked him.
Yeah. But going back to how much I love him, it's probably no exaggeration that I've probably in the last through the pandemic into now watched The Gentleman probably 9 times.
Really?
See, I've been wanting to watch that too. I haven't gotten
It's
to it.
so fucking good
Yeah.
and so under the radar, and it's just and
It is very much that.
And I told you, he's got one badass in every movie. The good thing about The Gentleman, that's a little swerve, and this is not a spoiler, but the badass is Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's a badass without having to do much of anything.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good.
I really liked Man from U.N.C.L.E., and I know people didn't like
Oh, it
it.
wasn't bad either.
In Army Hammer's canceled because he apparently eats people. But
That's a funny thing you bring up. So do you know what happened with Army Hammer?
No.
So some girl gave out his
text, direct
his
messages.
DMs.
Yeah.
And apparently Army has a cannibal fetish that he likes to explore during sex. Now, does he want to eat people? No, but it's part of his fetish.
And I don't even know if it's like full on explore during sex because they never really got into it, but it's like a lot of lead up to the sex. Like I'm gonna
he likes
bleed
that
you,
kind of
like
talk.
just
Yeah.
weird
So
shit.
here's the thing, which is absolutely creepy and cringy.
It's super weird.
But I was listening to Two Bears, One Cave with Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura. Bert Kreischer being Bert Kreischer, who's fucking awesome. And by the way, he's out filming the actual story, The Machine, as a film. Bert Kreischer, 2022 is going to be a year Bert Kreischer is a massive star. But he's talking about it. Or so they're talking about it. So he calls up a very famous Hollywood dominatrix that he knows. And she is, when I say famous, she works with a lot of famous people. She's like, she won't give names. She goes, but multiple Oscar winners. She made me feel sympathetic to where even though he said a bunch of weird shit, Armie Hammer did.
Yeah.
She made me feel sympathetic about it. She goes, oh, the sad thing here is the most safe and healthy way to explore a kink like he has is through someone like myself or whoever he was going through,
Yeah.
someone you can trust. And when that trust is violated, it's the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
And that I instantly felt bad for the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a weird fuck, and I would never. I mean, I don't
I
think
want
I'd
my
ever
daughter
be
dating him.
No,
Yeah.
and I don't think I'd ever be me too'd. But I can tell you, I've said some stupid shit to girls over the years.
Nah, there was some
Not
stories
like I want to
about.
drink your blood.
Yeah.
There was some stories about, and the couple articles that I read kind of went back and forth in that same direction. That was basically like, yes, he did bite her and draw blood and stuff, but at the time,
It was
she wasn't. She was. She consented to it at the
Yeah,
time.
it was all
and it was
consensual, and it wasn't until until it became a thing where people start getting famous for leaking these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it maybe it was weirder than it was. I don't know. I don't. Hopefully, if he gets his day in court or his redemption story or whatever you want to call it, he got pulled off of something big recently. But That being said, in the same, if we're going to stay on that topic, Ellie Kemper got shut down this week for the VP Fair, which, being from St. Louis, I didn't know that the VP Fair was like a...
Ellie Kemper got shut down because we're overly sensitive about stupid shit.
And she had to come out with a whole statement, and it was all... I didn't know the VP Fair had racist... I didn't
The
know
origins
why
of
the
it.
origins are super racist. And yeah, if you look back at it, you're like, that's really shitty. But like at 19, did she know that? Would anyone know that? I don't know. That's where it gets real annoying. But yeah.
So the machine, Bert Kreischer's little origin story, it's got Mark Hamill in it, and it's got a bunch of actresses and stuff you'll know. But the director directed.
Is it a cartoon or a movie?
No, it's a movie. It's the machine. I mean, it's Bert Kreischer.
I didn't know. If maybe
Do you know what
wrote.
the machine is? Oh, you gotta watch it. We may watch it at the end of this. But the guy that directed Keanu, the movie with the Key and Peele, in fact, he directed 55 episodes of Key and Peele. So he's made a lot of great stuff. Jean-Claude Van Johnson and some other stuff. Pete Atencio, I think it's his name. But it's. I mean, Bert even said, he goes, I show up to the set every day to work with Luke Skywalker. How fucking great is that? And we talked about this. Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill, has, I mean, his fourth act is massive now. Yeah. Like, I mean, he's gotten big. Like we said before, mainstream America doesn't know how great he's been for the last 20 years because he's been a voice actor. Yeah. Some of the biggest characters ever. He was Luke Skywalker, obviously, but now he's kind of past it all, and he's being Mark Hamill and things. Yeah. You know?
His Twitter is... he's massive on Twitter, and he did some Trump stuff where you like hated on him, but for the most part, it's all positive.
He's on the right side of things. Yeah. He's a guy that's never on the wrong side of things, even if you don't agree with
the Fonz. What's the Fonz name?
Henry
Winkler. Like, I follow Henry Winkler on Twitter, and like the world could be on fire, and it's just him holding a trout. Yeah, like all the fucking time, and he's like the nicest guy ever. Apparently,
is Barry coming back?
I don't know.
God, it's
both seasons were great.
Yeah.
It's his birthday today.
Bill Hader?
Fonz. Bill Hader's birthday is today, yeah.
Bill Hader, tremendous talent. Going back to the Comedy Central roast, there's a Bill Hader joke about Bill Hader's the most talented impersonator to ever have used one eye. You got anything for Throw It to Missy?
Yeah, I watched a couple things. I watched Hacks on HBO Max.
Which one is that?
That is Jean Smart.
Oh, yeah.
She's a older stand-up comedian that takes on a younger writer.
I saw it pop up on my daughter's profile on there. I haven't watched it.
It's pretty funny.
Okay.
Is it? I was wondering about that because a couple podcasts I listened to, there was a few of the writers for the show, and I'm like, I still don't know what this is about.
Yeah, she's an older stand-up, and
it's the Eternals of HBO Max.
Yeah. Kind of, yeah. She brings in, a younger writer comes to her, she hires her, and it's just about their kind of journey together and how she's kind of exploring more modern comedy.
Is it like a one-and-done type thing?
No, it's one of these things where they're releasing weekly.
Okay.
So, like, the first
you don't know where it's
episodes are out there. They go by pretty quick, though.
I didn't have this on the thing, but speaking of HBO Max, all the people that came out and shit on the Friends reunion when they announced it and that it wasn't...
I didn't watch it.
Fucking great. Well worth the hour and whatever it is, hour and a half.
I had no care.
Oh, dude, it's awesome.
I'll end up watching it when Aaron wants to see it.
The nostalgia
maybe
takes
Rachel
you back.
Will watch it.
It's cool to hear the stories on how they casted each person because it was created with David Schwimmer in mind. Yeah. And then let's find the rest of the cast.
Okay.
Because he was the Tony Award winning guy. They had worked with him from some other stuff. I
didn't feel any reason to shit on it. I just didn't care.
Yeah, but it was super, super worth watching. I won't even give you any more spoilers, but they do a little runway show. And the people that do modeling of some of the character outfits they had, so one spoiler, like Justin Bieber. I mean, they get big people involved in this. Lady Gaga shows up. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty fun.
But no Paul Rudd.
Yeah, but no Paul Rudd.
Rudd.
He's not the only one that doesn't show up.
He did show up to the premiere of Avengers at Disney last week in a pink suit. And like the internet went crazy.
He's working. Paul Rudd's working right now.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing was too, they told them, "Here's the date. If you can make it, great."
Yeah.
and he couldn't make it.
Well,
so.
and so Gunther makes an appearance, but it's via satellite, so they have a tough
Yeah.
time getting everybody there. But it's well worth watching. It's-
One more. Speaking of HBO Max, since we're staying on that, did you guys watch The Flight Attendant?
yes, season 1 was great.
Yeah,
I've seen
man.
about half of it.
Oh, season
I
1 was
really
great. Me and
liked it.
Missy both enjoyed it.
I didn't love the ending, but all the way up to the ending, the complexities of the characters all the way
Yes.
leading up was really,
So
really good.
I will say this: it's as fun
I
as
thought
a
it should have been
show.
one and done.
It's as fun as a show as I've ever watched, where the actions of the main character drive me insane. Like, it's,
she makes all of the wrong decisions
It's like
in life.
every 80s sitcom or TV show where you're like, oh, they're just behaving in the dumbest way possible.
Yeah.
But it was still enjoyable. And I don't care what anybody says. Kelly Cuoco's still one of the hottest people to be on.
Yes.
You know, just love
I'd
her.
watch her read the phone
Fuck,
book.
yeah. But I don't remember who said it, but it's some stand-up comic said, I'd crawl across a desert of broken glass to smell her fart. That's the way to do it. What else you watched?
So I watched the first episode of Sweet Tooth today.
Okay, I was gonna. So is that all out? The whole thing was
The
released.
whole,
right? Okay.
yeah, it's a Netflix
What
show,
was
so
the-
it's
how
pretty
was
much
the
all
first
comes
episode?
out. It was good.
Okay.
It set it up.
I haven't read reviews or anything.
Yeah, I hadn't either. I finished the comic, I think, last
You
Thursday.
tweeted out that it was worth reading.
It's such a good story.
What's it? Where's it available?
It's on Hoopla.
Is it? Okay. Oh, it is. I saw
Yeah.
it pop up on Hoopla.
I went out and bought the trade, so
Okay. Speaking of, so you're in on that show.
yeah, I'm in.
Okay.
They changed a few
Don't give
small
a review.
things.
We'll wait till
Yeah.
we all read it, and then we'll kind of have a good show, or watch it, and then we'll have a show on it.
The other international podcast I listen to, they watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's their wheelhouse. But
God
they said
damn,
it's
that thing
spectacular.
just came
Yeah.
out, and they watched it all already.
I mean, they literally only do TV.
they're
and
probably.
movies and very
I mean,
little
it makes
comics.
sense that you can get away with.
And they
hack
don't
guy.
have careers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can get away with hack podcasts over in the across the pond,
Yeah.
whereas here we've got to really
They
work hard
actually have
for it.
sponsors and get paid to sit
I don't
around
believe
and do
it.
nothing.
I don't believe it. We used to get free beer, but we stopped doing. Hey, speaking
We
of,
should go back there.
Speaking of, I'm telling you, we've been on a pretty good upward swing in downloads. It's just with guests and just being this weekly commitment.
Yeah.
And you skip 1 week and they jump off
Yeah.
a cliff, man.
Yep.
People have short memories and
Yeah.
attention spans.
Yeah.
Well, I've been talking to Good News and Exit 6, so we might be able to go to those places.
Okay, well,
Really?
speaking of Exit 6, I just talked to Jeff last Wednesday. So if you guys ever decide you got a bicycle and you want to go riding with us, listen, this is not an exclusive club. There's 2 things that it takes to be in our club. 1, you have to be on a bicycle, and 2, you have to enjoy beer. We had our first
How
club
good
meeting.
does your bike have to be? I own one, but I think
It doesn't have to be great. There's certain rides that would probably be difficult for you if you don't have a bike with a good drivetrain. But still, I mean, you know, we the other part of the club is that we meet at Exit 6 once a month now.
Okay.
And we did it last week and got hammered.
Nice.
It was good. So, yeah. Anyway, last thing on Hoopla that I got, and we kind of went right along, but that's okay. This Throw It to Missy segment's been half the fucking show.
Yeah.
Issue 3 of Last Ronin dropped on there.
I haven't read 2 or 3 yet.
Issue 3's great, man. It's a great comic. It's a very
So,
more
how-
flashback with Eastman and Lard's art. And it's
How many issues are there going to be?
4.
Okay, good.
I thought it was
I'm
only
gonna
3
stop.
until I read issue 3.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, fuck, there's a 4th issue now.
I'm going to wait because I just want to read it all at once.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
Do that. Because they read quick. They're not
Yeah,
very...
it's super fast.
It's not like it's a beefy, complex story, but goddamn, it's a fun story.
It's one of those ones I think I might go on and...
Oh, yeah. I thought about buying the single issues, and there's some variant covers, and I
Yeah.
do that stuff. I do that stuff from time to time. I'm certainly going to buy the hardcover when it's released.
Yeah.
There's a Shang-Chi run if you're looking for something to get into that movie. It's the new one.
Yeah, I've been reading it on Marvel app, but I saw Hoopla's now
Hoopla
released.
got,
Yeah.
it's good. It's fun. It gives you a little basis
I
on the
enjoyed it.
character.
It's a
Yeah.
martial arts movie.
There's no, the stakes are low, but it's still a lot of fun. Gives you who it is. And then there's a Black Cat run that's totally worth it, but that's kind of because she's my comic book thing. But it's a good heist. It's a good heist comic.
That's where she has the whole team together.
Yeah, it's good
Yeah,
stuff.
it was
Oh,
good.
She
I
brings in
like heist
Spider-Man in the
Yeah.
last run, and they have to pretend to get married. It's good stuff.
Did you just? People can track back and listen to it again, but I'm fairly certain you just made Peter Parker Jewish. You just said Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Yeah, Spider-Man. Like Goldman.
It's the,
Go back to Friends. There was a whole conversation about why is it Goldman?
It's the Spider-Man family. Yeah, that makes sense.
This is Coffee Talk.
Yeah, this is speaking of just completely random shit because we're off the
We are
rails here.
all over the
It doesn't matter. That's what makes when our podcast is at its best is when we're doing this. Oh, I'm gonna pull the pin out of that Kickstarter thing I talked about.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
I kickstarted Heroes of Beercadia. It is another drinking role-playing game to where you face down, put the tiles out, you flip them over as you step on them, like go through the dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
Your life meter it comes with 6 pint glasses, and your life meter is your pint glass. You drink down to however much health you lose.
Oh, that's
And you
cool.
can add
Yeah.
drinks. Also, for special powers, shots.
Oh.
So rest assured, when that comes in, here's the even better thing about it.
So this isn't your idea.
No, I kickstarted it.
Oh, okay.
And I pledged it to where I got the extra pint glasses. They may even be plastic, but they're washable.
Yeah.
But the other thing that's great about the board game that they did, every single piece of the game is water resistant. They're all made with so that.
Safe for me.
But I saw that. I saw them announce that the Kickstarter is coming like 4 or 5 months ago, and I put alert me when it came out. I was literally the 12th person to back it. I was like, this is a podcast must.
Yeah.
I'll show you pictures of it here in a second, but it looks well worth it. The other thing I'm excited about that's unrelated to, it's more related to my professional life is, we're getting back in full swing. I got a big customer event this Wednesday. I'm going to Schlafly, St. Charles, which I've heard nothing but bad things about.
I was fine when I was there.
I've heard food's not so great and service not so great, and I've told people that I think
didn't eat, though.
I think that might be the carryover from what happened to Trailhead.
Yeah.
Maybe they got to clean some shit up, but I'm looking forward to it because my fondness for Schlafly. So
Beer was good.
Doing that, and then next week I'm doing customer event where we're going to end up go to St. Charles where we're doing Tony's on Main, and then we're going to bar hop a little bit. So I'm excited about that, and I can tell you. We had our meeting this morning about being in Traverse City, and I looked it up. My boss can't get to Traverse City until like 10 o'clock at night on that Monday. And he said, and I already told you guys this, but you're on your own that Monday. From our hotel in walking distance is 4 breweries.
Nice.
So Jeremy will be hammered around 2 o'clock on a Monday.
Yeah. So next Monday I'm out because I leave this Saturday for South Padre Island.
Well, let's touch on that. One, awesome. That's going to be a good time. And
There's one brewery on the island, and I will be hitting it up.
So so the week after that, I will be in San Diego hitting breweries and doing whatever I can. So Jay, I guess I'm going to put this on you. If you're available next week, we might do a twofer. We might do 2 episodes, and then I'll just schedule the release of the one for the week. So we need to come up with maybe take a deep dive into something that's unrelated to a timely topic.
Okay.
So maybe we'll come up.
Can't do a comic pod, though. You
Can't do a comic pod without Bender, but maybe we'll come up with something. Or we'll do a J version of a comic pod.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Sports seems to maybe it'll be a triumphant return of Tom, and you guys could talk sports.
You know what? That'll be the best thing. We'll try to get Tom here. Maybe we'll do knockout 2 episodes or something like that. But I want to do one where it's timely, and then one where we, a filler episode that we can do while we're gone. But anyway, I don't have
Neither
anything
here
else.
nor there.
The only thing, we go hard. There's some things I want to show you guys before you leave my house.
Cool. I can drink another beer.
Yeah, but regardless, I do want to give Jay one of those dynamite drop-ins. Show us how that broadcasting school is really paying off, Jay.
Bye, everybody.
All right, Bender.
Hold on to your butts.
And we're playing the music. That is the end of the episode.
I know I say this all the time, but that Camp Cretaceous